Young Tycoons Playbook, written and published by Naquib Larry. Introduction: Secrets that could change your life. Imagine if you held in your hands a secret blueprint, the kind of blueprint that transforms ordinary young people into extraordinary tycoons. Imagine discovering the very playbook that the world's greatest names use to build empires, create legacies, and change the course of history. That playbook is now in your hands. This is not just another book filled with motivational cliches. This is a door that opens into a world where fear is replaced by courage, where failure is not the end but the lesson, and where a single idea has the power to change everything. Inside these pages lie principles and strategies that turn dreamers into doers, wanderers into leaders, and youth into unstoppable forces. You will uncover how opportunities are spotted when others sleep, how powerful networks are built from nothing, and how decisive moves separate winners from the forgotten. But let me warn you, this book is not for everyone. It is only for those who dare to question the ordinary, who are willing to break the patterns that hold millions back, and who are hungry enough to turn ambition into action. So the question is, are you just going to read, or are you ready to execute?
Chapter 1: The Mindset of a Tycoon. Every great empire begins in the mind. The skyscrapers that dominate our cities, the companies that redefine entire industries, the digital platforms that connect billions of people. All of them began as a simple thought in the mind of someone who dared to believe in possibility. Success at its core is not a matter of luck or inheritance. It is the byproduct of a mindset. Before a young person can build wealth, create a business, or inspire the world, they must first master the battlefield of the mind. For young entrepreneurs who dream of becoming tomorrow's tycoons, cultivating the right mindset is not optional, it is everything. One of the biggest obstacles that stops young people from achieving greatness is the fear of failure. This fear is not unique, it is universal. Almost every aspiring entrepreneur has heard that inner voice whispering, "What if it doesn't work? What if people laugh? What if I lose everything?" But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the process of success. Every tycoon you admire has failed, not once, but multiple times. What separates them from the crowd is not that they avoided failure, but that they refused to let it define them. Instead of fearing failure, they embraced it as a teacher. They saw every mistake as feedback, every setback as training, every rejection as redirection. If you are young and hungry to succeed, you must adopt the same attitude. The day you stop fearing failure is the day you give yourself permission to win. Alongside conquering fear, the next shift is moving from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking. Scarcity thinking is the belief that opportunities are limited, that money is only for the privileged, that success is reserved for a chosen few. Abundance thinking, on the other hand, recognizes that opportunities are everywhere. Money is not running away, it is constantly circulating. Innovation creates new markets every single day. The world is not running out of chances, it is overflowing with them. A young tycoon does not sit in envy of other people's success. Instead, they see proof that success is possible. They ask, if it's possible for them, why not for me? This simple shift from scarcity to abundance transforms hesitation into action and doubt into determination. But mindset alone is not about positive thinking. It is about disciplined action. The role of self-discipline, laser focus, and patience cannot be overstated. Many young entrepreneurs start with passion but fail to sustain momentum. Why? Because discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Discipline is waking up early when you don't feel like it, putting in the work when no one is watching, and refusing to be distracted by quick pleasures while you are building long-term success. Focus is learning to say no to 99 things so you can say yes to the one thing that truly matters. And patience is the ability to endure the waiting period between planting the seed and harvesting the fruit. In the age of instant gratification, patience is a superpower. Tycoons are not built overnight. They are forged in the fire of persistence. Another crucial aspect of the tycoon mindset is clarity. Many young entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed because they don't know exactly what they want. They want success, yes, but success is too vague. Clarity means defining what success looks like for you. Do you want to build a business that changes lives? Do you want to achieve financial freedom by 30? Do you want to create something so powerful that your name is remembered for generations? Until you can see your vision clearly in your mind, you will wander without direction. Clarity creates focus, and focus creates momentum. Write your vision down, speak it out loud, and remind yourself daily why you started. A tycoon does not wait for life to hand them purpose. They create it with intention. Self-belief is the foundation of all this. Without belief, opportunities pass unnoticed, discipline feels unbearable, and clarity fades into doubt. Every young entrepreneur must develop unshakable self-belief. This does not mean arrogance, but confidence rooted in preparation and persistence. The truth is, if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Investors won't, customers won't, and your own team won't. Belief is contagious. When you radiate conviction, others want to follow you. This belief is not developed in one day. It is built by showing up consistently, keeping promises to yourself, and proving through small wins that you are capable of more. The more you keep winning those small internal battles, the stronger your confidence grows. Think of the world's most iconic entrepreneurs: Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos. Before anyone else believed in their ideas, they did. Jobs believed that personal computers could change the world when the idea sounded ridiculous. Elon Musk believed in electric cars when experts mocked him. Oprah believed in her worth when society tried to silence her. Bezos believed in selling books online when no one had even thought of e-commerce. Their unshakable belief became the fuel that carried them through rejection, doubt, and ridicule. If you want to play the game of tycoons, belief is your first and most valuable currency. Young entrepreneurs must also understand that the mindset of a tycoon is not built in comfort zones. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Every time you challenge yourself, whether it's public speaking, pitching an idea, or taking a bold risk, you expand your capacity. The discomfort you avoid today will be the limitation you live with tomorrow. A tycoon leans into discomfort, knowing that every uncomfortable step is moving them closer to power and influence. But remember, mindset is not just about yourself. A true tycoon mindset includes responsibility. It is about asking not only how can I win, but also how can I create value for others. Success without contribution feels empty. The greatest entrepreneurs did not just chase money, they chased impact. They asked, what problem can I solve? What service can I provide? What difference can I make? When you align your vision with service, you tap into a purpose that gives you strength on the hardest days. At the end of the day, the mindset of a tycoon can be summed up in one powerful principle. Your mind is your empire. Guard it, feed it, train it, and expand it. Read books that challenge your thinking, surround yourself with people who inspire growth, and protect your energy from negativity. Every thought you entertain is a seed. If you plant seeds of fear, excuses, and doubt, your future will reflect that. But if you plant seeds of courage, belief, and abundance, your life will grow into an empire. So to every young dreamer reading this, you are not too young, too inexperienced, or too small to make an impact. The tycoons of tomorrow are being shaped today in bedrooms, dorm rooms, garages, and tiny offices across the world. They are not waiting for permission. They are training their minds, sharpening their vision, and preparing for the moment when opportunity knocks. And when it does, they will be ready. Not because of luck, but because of mindset. Your tycoon journey begins not with money in your pocket, but with belief in your mind. Protect it, grow it, and act on it. For when you master the mindset of a tycoon, the empire you dream of is no longer a question of if, but only a matter of when.
Chapter 2. Spotting Opportunities Early. If there is one skill that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, it is the ability to spot opportunities before others can see them. Every tycoon, whether in business, technology, or culture, has mastered this art. They have the vision to notice patterns that others dismiss, the courage to act when others hesitate, and the wisdom to nurture small sparks until they become raging fires of innovation. Spotting opportunities is not about luck. It is about training your mind to see the invisible and act before the crowd catches on. For young entrepreneurs, this skill is not just important, it is the very foundation of building an empire. Think about the most iconic stories of our time. Oprah Winfrey recognized the power of authentic storytelling at a time when media was dominated by rigid news anchors. What do all these examples have in common? They are stories of visionaries who spotted opportunities early and acted when others doubted. But how can a young person develop this ability? The first key is to recognize trends before the crowd does. Trends are like waves. Some are small ripples that disappear quickly, but others build momentum and become unstoppable forces. A young tycoon learns to surf these waves at the right moment. To do this, you must sharpen your ability to observe. Pay attention to what people are talking about, what problems they're facing, and what technologies are emerging. Often, the biggest opportunities hide in plain sight, waiting for someone bold enough to connect the dots. Observation alone, however, is not enough. It must be paired with research and curiosity. Curiosity is the fuel of discovery. Ask questions others are not asking. Why are people shifting to this product? Why is this platform suddenly growing? Why are traditional businesses struggling? The more questions you ask, the more patterns you begin to see. Research helps you validate these patterns. It gives you proof of what is happening and where things are headed. A tycoon does not guess blindly. They study, analyze, and confirm before moving. Research transforms raw curiosity into clear direction. Opportunities often arise from global shifts, changes in technology, business, culture, or society. The internet created billionaires. Smartphones created billionaires. Renewable energy will create more. The question is, how can you connect these global shifts to your own ideas? That is the heart of entrepreneurship. For example, when the shift to mobile technology began, millions of people saw it, but only a few, like Mark Zuckerberg, who optimized Facebook for mobile, or the founders of Instagram, who created a photo-sharing app for smartphones, actually capitalized on it. You don't have to create the shift yourself. You only need to align your vision with it. Let's take culture as another example. Over the last decade, people have shifted from consuming polished television shows to authentic short-form content on social media. Many dismissed platforms like TikTok or YouTube Shorts as distractions.
But some young creators spotted the cultural change early, realizing that attention had moved from TV screens to smartphones. They built careers, businesses, and even billion-dollar brands simply by riding that cultural wave. The lesson is clear. Cultural shifts are gold mines for those who act before the masses catch on. Spotting an opportunity is only the first step. The real test lies in execution, turning small opportunities into scalable ventures. Many people notice trends, but very few act on them. And among those who act, even fewer have the persistence to scale. The journey from idea to empire requires patience, strategy, and relentless effort. Think of Airbnb. The founders noticed that hotels were often too expensive or fully booked, and people were willing to rent out spare rooms. At first, it was just an idea to earn quick cash during a conference in San Francisco. But because they saw the potential and scaled it globally, it became a multi-billion-dollar company. Scaling requires two things: vision and systems. Vision allows you to see not just what the opportunity is today, but what it could be tomorrow. Systems allow you to build processes, teams, and strategies that grow with demand. Without vision, you'll limit yourself. Without systems, you'll collapse under growth. A young tycoon must learn to balance both. Here's the truth. Opportunities are everywhere, but only those prepared can seize them. Many young people make the mistake of waiting for the perfect opportunity, one that comes gift-wrapped and risk-free. That opportunity doesn't exist. Real opportunities often look small, uncertain, and even unattractive at first. They come disguised as problems. They come when no one is paying attention. The art of a tycoon is to recognize them early, act boldly, and commit fully. So how do you train yourself to spot opportunities? Start by expanding your perspective. Read widely, travel if you can, and interact with people outside your circle. Innovation often comes from cross-pollination, connecting ideas from one industry to another. Many breakthroughs are born when someone takes a concept from one world and applies it in another. For example, Steve Jobs borrowed from calligraphy to influence Apple's typography. That detail made Apple computers stand out and shaped an entire design philosophy. Second, stay alert to pain points. Where people complain, opportunities live. Every problem is a seed for a business. When you hear people frustrated about slow services, expensive products, or outdated systems, that frustration is your invitation to innovate. Tycoons don't complain about problems, they solve them, and in solving them, they create wealth. Third, act quickly. Timing is everything. Too early and people won't understand. Too late and the market will already be crowded. The sweet spot is acting just before the crowd, when there is enough proof that the opportunity is real, but before it becomes obvious. This requires courage. You will often face doubt, criticism, and even ridicule. But remember, the crowd is never right at the beginning. By the time everyone sees the opportunity, it is no longer an opportunity, it is competition. Finally, commit to learning from every attempt. Not every opportunity you chase will succeed, and that's okay. The skill of spotting opportunities improves with practice. Each failure sharpens your vision. Each setback teaches you to see more clearly next time. Over time, your instincts will become sharper and your confidence will grow. The mindset of a tycoon is not, I hope for opportunities, but I create opportunities by paying attention. The world is shifting every day. Technology is advancing, cultures are evolving, and markets are opening. For the young and ambitious, the stage has never been bigger. The question is not whether opportunities exist, they do. The real question is, will you train your eyes to see them before everyone else does? In the end, the tycoons of tomorrow will not simply be the ones with the most money or the best connections. They will be the ones who mastered the art of spotting opportunities early, who acted with courage while others hesitated, and who scaled small ideas into massive empires. If you want to join their ranks, start sharpening your vision today. Look closer, listen deeper, Ask harder questions. Opportunities are not hiding, they are waiting for you to notice. Because the truth is simple. Opportunities don't wait, they reward the ones who act. Chapter 3. Building Smart Networks. They say your network is your net worth, and for a young entrepreneur, those words are not just a catchy phrase, they are a reality. Every empire that has ever been built stood not on the shoulders of one person, but on the strength of relationships. No matter how sharp your vision, how great your product, or how powerful your discipline, you will eventually need people. Mentors to guide you, peers to challenge you, investors to back you, and communities to support you. A smart network is not a luxury, it is a necessity. But building a network is not about shaking hands with as many people as possible or adding random connections online. It is about building meaningful bridges that stand strong when tested. A young entrepreneur must understand the difference between noise and signal. Many chase numbers, more followers, more business cards, more casual meetings, but very few focus on depth, trust, and genuine alignment. The truth is, 10 authentic connections can change your destiny more than 1,000 empty ones. Mentorship is often the first pillar of a smart network. A mentor is not someone who hands you success, but someone who holds a mirror to your potential. The right mentor sees the version of you that you cannot yet see yourself. They provide perspective when you are blinded by excitement, and they give encouragement when you are suffocated by doubt. Many young entrepreneurs make the mistake of searching for perfect mentors with all the answers. But a mentor is not a magician. They are a compass. Their role is not to walk your path for you, but to point out the direction and warn you of the storms ahead. The smart entrepreneur knows how to listen deeply, absorb lessons, and apply them with humility. Alongside mentors, peers play a vital role. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people is like keeping your fire alive in the cold. When you are among peers who dream as big as you, who hustle with the same hunger, you are constantly reminded that your journey is not lonely. You exchange ideas, challenge each other, and grow together. These relationships are not competitive in the destructive sense. They are competitive in the inspiring sense. Your peers' success becomes proof that you too can achieve greatness. And when you stumble, they pull you back up because they understand the weight of the struggle firsthand. Investors, on the other hand, bring not just money, but belief. Capital without belief is transactional, but capital with vision is transformational. A smart entrepreneur does not chase every investor, they seek alignment. You don't just need someone with funds, you need someone who understands the dream you're chasing. This is where many fail, by treating networking as begging instead of partnership. If you walk into a room asking only for money, you lower yourself to the role of a seeker. But if you walk in with confidence, clarity, and the willingness to create mutual value, you are seen as a partner. Smart networks are built not on desperation, but on dignity. The biggest mistake young entrepreneurs make is confusing transactional relationships with transformational ones. Transactional relationships are short-term. I give you this, you give me that. They are fragile and often break as soon as the benefit ends. Transformational relationships, however, are built on trust, shared vision, and long-term value. They don't ask, "What can you give me now?" but instead, "How can we grow together?" These relationships are rare, but they are the ones that will carry you through storms and open doors you didn't even know existed. One of the most powerful tools of our era is social media. For the young entrepreneur, it is not just a place for entertainment, it is a stage for influence, connection, and reputation. Used carelessly, it becomes a distraction, but used wisely, it becomes a magnet. When you share your journey authentically, when you speak about your vision, when you highlight the value you bring, you begin to attract the attention of people who resonate with your mission. A post can spark a conversation can spark a collaboration, and a collaboration can spark an empire. The smart entrepreneur understands that social media is not about showing off, but about showing up consistently with value. Beyond digital platforms, real-world events remain priceless. Conferences, workshops, meetups, even small gatherings, these are the places where real bonds are forged. Looking someone in the eye, sharing energy, exchanging ideas in person, these moments build trust far faster than 100 messages online. Attending events is not about taking selfies or collecting cards. It is about listening, engaging, and planting seeds for future growth. Every handshake carries the potential to be a doorway if you approach it with sincerity. Yet at the heart of networking lies one golden principle: add value first. Too many approach relationships with an attitude of, "What can I take?" without realizing that lasting influence comes from asking, "What can I give?" When you bring value into someone's life, whether it's an idea, a resource, encouragement, or simply respect, you shift from being a taker to being a partner. Over time, the universe rewards givers. People remember those who helped them, those who lifted them without asking for immediate returns. Adding value is not weakness, it is the strongest networking strategy you can ever adopt. Think of it this way. Every relationship is like a bank account. If you keep withdrawing without depositing, the account runs dry. But if you keep investing in others, eventually the account grows with interest. One day when you need it most, you will find that your network has become a treasure chest of opportunities, support, and strength. The entrepreneur who gives first will always stand taller in the long run. But let us be clear, building smart networks takes patience. Relationships don't grow overnight. Trust is not built with one message, one meeting, or one favor. Trust is built through consistency. Showing up when you say you will, keeping your promises, respecting others' time, and treating people as humans rather than stepping stones. In a world full of shallow interactions, authenticity shines brighter than any clever pitch. The young entrepreneur must learn that networking is not a race, but a journey. One day, you will look back and realize that every breakthrough in your journey came through a connection. A mentor's advice that saved you from a costly mistake, a peer's collaboration that opened a new market, an investor's belief that gave you the fuel to grow, a stranger at an event who later became a lifelong ally. Success is rarely a solo achievement. It is always woven with the threads of relationships. So remember this, your network is not built by accident. It is built by design. Every conversation, every message, every handshake is a chance to either strengthen or weaken your future. Approach each interaction with intention. Be genuine. Be curious. Be generous. The Tycoon mindset says, I don't collect people, I connect with people. I don't chase relationships, I cultivate them. If money is fuel, then networks are roads. Without roads, fuel is useless. Without networks, even the greatest ideas stall. But when you combine them both, vision fueled by money, traveling on roads built by relationships, you create unstoppable momentum. That is how empires rise. Your task as a future tycoon is to begin today. Build bridges, not walls. Create bonds, not transactions. Show up with value, not just demands. In time, you will find that your network becomes your most valuable asset, one that multiplies your opportunities, amplifies your influence, and turns your dreams into reality.
Chapter 4. The Playbook of Execution. Ideas are everywhere. Every single person walking on the street has at least one idea that could potentially change lives, disrupt industries, or even transform the world. But here's the hard truth. Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. The world is not short of dreamers, it is short of doers. What separates a tycoon from the crowd is not that he thought of something brilliant, but that he had the courage, discipline, and persistence to bring that idea into reality.
Execution is where your journey shifts from the abstract world of what if to the concrete reality of what is. The first principle of execution is setting clear, measurable goals with deadlines. A vague goal like "I want to be successful" will only keep you stuck in the fog of uncertainty. A real tycoon translates his vision into actionable steps. For example, instead of saying, "I want to start a business someday," a measurable goal would be, "Within 3 months, I will launch an online store with at least 10 products." Deadlines give urgency to your actions and force you to prioritize. Without deadlines, even the most exciting ideas fade into the background noise of daily life. Success belongs to those who dare to put a clock on their dreams and race against it. Once goals are set, the next principle is consistency. Greatness is not built in one explosive burst of effort, but in small, daily habits that compound over time. A young tycoon understands that showing up every day is more powerful than waiting for a perfect day. Writing 1 page daily creates a book in a year. Making 1 sales call every day leads to hundreds of opportunities in months. Learning 1 new skill consistently sharpens you into a master. Consistency is like water drops carving a stone. It looks slow, but it shapes destiny. Tycoons aren't those who did it all at once, but those who didn't stop when it got boring, tough, or repetitive. But consistency doesn't mean doing everything yourself. This brings us to the third pillar, smart delegation. Many young entrepreneurs fall into the trap of believing they must handle every detail alone. The truth is, trying to do everything limits your growth. Delegation is not about laziness, it's about focus. A tycoon asks, "What is the one thing only I can do that drives the most impact?" and then delegates the rest. Building a strong team allows you to multiply your efforts and scale faster. The greatest leaders are not the ones who carry the entire burden themselves, but the ones who empower others to carry it with them. Still, execution is not just about persistence and delegation, it's also about decision-making. One of the hardest choices in business and life is knowing when to pivot and when to persist. Sometimes an idea needs more time, more effort, and more patience before it blossoms. Other times, an idea is simply not working, and the bravest move is to shift directions. The difference between winners and quitters is not that winners never stop, but that they know what to stop and when. Pivoting is not failure, it is evolution. But quitting out of fear is failure. Tycoons master the balance. They persist in their mission, but remain flexible in their methods. Execution also requires resilience because no plan survives reality untouched. You will face obstacles, delays, and disappointments. The true test is whether you keep moving despite them. Execution is a war against excuses, procrastination, and distractions. It demands self-control, the ability to say no to comfort in order to say yes to growth. Many dreamers get stuck in planning mode, endlessly preparing but never acting. A tycoon, on the other hand, understands that imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Start small, learn fast, adapt, and keep moving forward. Another crucial aspect of execution is accountability. Hold yourself responsible for your promises. A deadline means nothing unless you honor it. Create systems of accountability. Share your goals with a mentor, track your progress daily, or set public commitments that force you to deliver. Tycoons thrive under pressure because they welcome pressure as fuel for performance. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, and so are leaders. Finally, the spirit of execution lies in building momentum. Every small win builds confidence. Every completed task is proof that your vision is becoming reality. Momentum is addictive. Once you start, you want to keep going. This is why taking the first step is the hardest, yet most important. You don't have to have the entire staircase figured out. You only need to take the next step. Execution is like pushing a heavy wheel, hard at the start, but once it rolls, it carries its own weight forward. In the end, The playbook of execution is not a secret formula. It is a mindset of relentless action. Tycoons are not those who merely dream big. They are those who wake up every morning and do something about their dreams. They understand that the gap between ordinary and extraordinary is not intelligence, luck, or resources. It is execution. Every day you delay execution, someone else is building the future you imagined. So ask yourself, will you remain a dreamer, talking about someday? Or will you commit to execution, turning your ideas into impact? The world is waiting for your actions, not your intentions. Your empire is not in your thoughts, it is in your execution.
Chapter 5, Wealth That Lasts. Making money is exciting. For a young entrepreneur, the first taste of profit feels like freedom, proof that your vision has value and that the world will pay for it. But here's the truth that separates a temporary hustler from a lasting tycoon. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much wealth you keep, grow, and pass on. Many people learn how to earn, but very few learn how to sustain. True tycoons think beyond income. They think about wealth that outlives them. The first pillar of lasting wealth is sustainability. Quick money often disappears as fast as it comes. Look around and you'll see countless examples of entrepreneurs who earned millions but ended up broke because they had no system of managing money. Making money is only the first step. Preserving it requires strategy, discipline, and wisdom. Tycoons treat their wealth like a garden. It must be nurtured, protected, and allowed to grow over time. A short-term victory means nothing if it cannot withstand the test of decades. One of the most overlooked principles is saving and reinvesting profits. Many young entrepreneurs fall into the trap of spending as soon as money arrives. They buy flashy cars, luxury clothes, or try to prove their success through lifestyle. But every dollar you waste is a seed you refuse to plant. Wealth multiplies when profits are reinvested into businesses, assets, and growth. Savings build stability, and reinvestments build scalability. A true tycoon learns the discipline of delaying gratification, sacrificing temporary pleasures today for permanent freedom tomorrow. Another vital step is diversifying income streams. Relying on a single source of money is like standing on one leg. One small shake and you fall. Real wealth is built on multiple foundations. This could mean running several businesses, investing in stocks, real estate, digital assets, or even creating passive income through royalties and intellectual property. The goal is not just to make money, but to create systems that make money for you. Tycoons sleep peacefully because even while they rest, their money is working harder than they ever could. But building wealth is not only about making smart moves, it's also about avoiding traps. Many young tycoons lose everything, not because they didn't earn enough, but because they made reckless decisions. Debt addiction, overspending, poor investments, and lack of financial literacy are silent killers of wealth. Every tycoon must guard against greed, impatience, and ego-driven risks. The market punishes arrogance and rewards wisdom. Protecting wealth is an art. Sometimes the smartest move is not to chase a shiny new trend, but to safeguard the foundation you already built. At its core, true wealth is not about numbers in a bank account. It's about freedom and legacy. What good is money if it dies with you? A true tycoon thinks generationally. They aim to build wealth that supports their family, community, and causes they believe in. Legacy wealth means creating something that outlives you. A foundation, a business empire, or even an idea that continues to produce value long after you're gone. The great tycoons of history are remembered not just for their riches, but how they used those riches to shape the future.
Building wealth that lasts also demands education and self-mastery. Money without wisdom is like water in broken hands. It slips away no matter how much you collect. That's why young tycoons dedicate themselves to continuous learning, studying finance, investments, business strategy, and leadership. They seek mentors, read deeply, and never assume they know it all. Financial literacy is the armor that protects wealth from erosion. Without it, even the strongest empire can collapse. Lastly, sustaining wealth requires a balanced perspective. Money is a tool, not the destination. It should serve your mission, not enslave you. When wealth becomes only about showing off or competing with others, it loses meaning. But when wealth is used to fuel dreams, empower others, and create change, it becomes a force that outlasts lifetimes. A young tycoon must constantly ask, am I building riches, or am I building wealth that matters? In the end, the tycoon's journey doesn't stop at making money. It evolves into mastering wealth. The world is full of stories of people who went from rags to riches and back to rags. But the rare few rise, sustain, and leave a mark that echoes through generations. That's the destiny of a true young tycoon, to create wealth that lasts, wealth that grows, and wealth that continues to impact long after their footsteps fade. So remember this, earning is temporary, but legacy is permanent. Money comes and goes, but wealth that lasts becomes history. The choice is yours. Will you be a mere earner, or will you become a tycoon whose wealth outlives time?
Conclusion. You have now walked through this entire book, absorbing its lessons, principles, and strategies. But reading is never enough. Application is everything. And so as we close these pages, here are some powerful suggestions that can serve as guiding lights for your journey ahead. First, remember that a successful entrepreneur is not born, he is built. Built by mindset, habits, and the ability to keep going when the world says stop. The truth is simple. Money always follows mindset. If your thinking is small, your earnings will remain small. But the moment you expand your vision, discipline your habits, and strengthen your execution, wealth will begin to chase you instead of the other way around. The young generation must understand that the future belongs to those who think beyond survival and focus on building systems, influence, and lasting wealth. Success is not luck, it is a formula. The formula is clarity of vision, know exactly what you want. Consistent execution, do the small things daily that compound into greatness. Smart networking, surround yourself with mentors and peers who elevate you. Financial intelligence, learn saving, investing, and diversifying income streams. Legacy thinking, build not just for today, but for generations. Failures will come, but they are never final unless you quit. Every rejection is redirection. Every delay is preparation, and every loss carries a lesson that sharpens your future wins. If you truly want to rise as a tycoon, shift your mindset today. Stop chasing shortcuts. Stop living for approval. Start adding value. Start building discipline, and start creating wealth that lasts. Remember, opportunities don't come to the lazy. They come to the prepared. The more you grow your mindset, the more doors will open. Your future is waiting. The only question is, will you step into it with courage?